What is going on, YouTube? My name is Ayo. Too close to the camera. Ronnie. It's a good day to have a great day, and today I welcome you to top 30 best Pokemon to Lucky Trade. Let's get it. Go ahead, slap a like. If you do like videos like this, please consider subscribing. Fifth upload today. I'm so sorry, but this is it. In this video, we will cover two things: who and why. This will be broken down into three categories. The first one will be pretty much varsity. The second one will be junior varsity. And the third one will be my personal pick. This is like if all else fails, okay? So don't look at my personal pick and start ripping me apart. It's just something I feel qualifies for a lucky trade. Pokemon Go has just announced that we get a consecutive 72 hours of long distance trading, which makes this a fantastic time for you to get off some of your lucky trades that you have been holding on to. This will start from 11 a.m. Friday and will end 11 a.m. Monday. So do keep that in mind, that you can still sneak one more trade in there before 11 a.m. on Monday, giving you a total of 4 trades. If you do not know what a lucky trade is, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Once you hit best friends, you then continue to interact with each other with a slim chance of hitting lucky friends. Lucky friends does not do very much in the means of battles or gifts or anything like that, but it does guarantee you a lucky trade. A lucky Pokemon basically has a set base value. Without making this overly complicated, the lowest rate a Pokemon can be is a 12 attack, 12 defense, and 12 HP or stamina from a lucky trade, which basically guarantees you a pretty solid Pokemon. Now, these trades can go left. You can get a 12, which is like a low 3-star. However, other advantage is that it saves you a lot of Stardust. It cuts your Stardust cost in half for powering up this Pokemon, which will be detrimental once we start getting into level 50, because each and every power up in level 40 to 50 costs a minimum of 10,000 to 15,000 Stardust. If you'd like for me to make a further detailed video about lucky trades, let me know in the comments, please. This video will cover your best gym and raid attackers. If you would like for me to make a video of the best Pokemon to lucky trade for PvP, let me know in the comments. Do keep in mind that this list is in no particular order, so just because I say a Pokemon first does not mean that that's the number one. Without further ado, I'm very excited to get into this, and I hope you are as well. Let's get it. Starting with Rampardos. Rampardos is the absolute best rock type attacker in the game, an absolute must-have, because in most raids, you will definitely see a large amount of flying type Pokemon. Flying type and fire type Pokemon are very weak to rock type attackers, and Rampardos excels above all of them with one of the highest attack stats in the game of 295. So if you're looking for an awesome rock type attacker, Rampardos is your man. Giratina O goes without saying. That is Giratina origin form. Basically, that's the one that floats around. One of the best ghost type attackers in the game, only ousted by Gengar. However, what Giratina has that Gengar doesn't is defense. Giratina is very bulky. It stays in the game long enough and consistently deals out damage. It is a ghost and dragon type Pokemon, meaning it does dragon type attacks and ghost type attacks, making it kind of a multitasking Pokemon with a ton of resistances, giving itself a well-earned spot on best Pokemon to lucky trade. Rayquaza goes without saying. Keep in mind, if you want to spice up your trades, you can trade shiny Pokemon, but this is just about Pokemon in general and who is best to trade. Bring us to Rayquaza. Rayquaza, best dragon in the game, only ousted by Shadow Salamence. Rayquaza pretty much goes without saying. With the addition of flying type moves, it is the number 3 best flying type attacker in the game, but definitely excels as a dragon. Rayquaza is loved and cherished for one reason. It hits so hard that even though it is a fragile type Pokemon, you don't notice it because you're knocking out enemies left and right. And that is how you win fights, not by taking punches, but by throwing punches. Moving on to Metagross. Meteor Mash Metagross. Keep in mind, your Metagross needs Meteor Mash in order to really be looked at or accepted as a worthwhile lucky trade. Now we do have the Hoenn event coming up, in which you can take a Beldum, level it all the way up to Metagross, and then once it levels from Metang to Metagross, we'll learn to move Meteor Mash. So do keep that in mind. If you don't have a lot of good stuff to trade, why not just trade a Beldum? It is the absolute best steel type attacker in the game, and I've said this before, it's only ousted, meaning its only competition is itself in shadow form, making it well-deserved to be on our list of Pokemon to trade. Coming up next, I have a Mewtwo 2 times. One is Shadow Ball and one is Side Strike. Shadow Ball Mewtwo is an absolute beast, a psychic type that was for a long time the best ghost type attacker in the game because Shadow Ball is so incredibly strong. Now, things are a little bit different because we do have Elite Charge TMs. This is definitely a Pokemon you're going to want to unlock 2 moves on, giving yourself in the long run a big saving on Stardust because it does do well as a ghost type attacker with Shadow Ball as well as Side Strike. Side Strike being the second version of Mewtwo that you would hope to unlock. This Side Strike move took Mewtwo from being the best type attacker in the game and took it to the most incredible attacker in the game, being the best psychic type with no other competition for that title, giving it a spot on our list. Sky Attack Moltres. Sky Attack Moltres is a legacy Pokemon, meaning you would need an Elite Charge TM in order to unlock the move Sky Attack, in order to make this the most efficient. This puts Moltres as the number 1, way over Rayquaza, as the number 1 flying type attacker in the entire game. The second competition is Honchkrow for that position. Not to mention the fact that Moltres can also learn Fire Spin and Overheat. This is one of the most deadly Pokemon in the game, being one of the best fire types and best flying types. If you're going to lucky trade anything, I definitely suggest a Sky Attack Moltres, giving it a spot on our list. This one is the easiest one to get right now at this moment because it is Garchomp. The Garchomp family, starting with Baby Gible. You see him in the raids right now. Don't hesitate. Even if you get a bad one, don't transfer it. Save it. Trade Gible for Gible with a friend. You won't regret it because Garchomp is one of the best ground type Pokemon in the game. Keep in mind, not only is it very effective as a ground type Pokemon, it takes 3 times damage reduction from electric type attacks because it's a dragon and it's a ground type Pokemon. Not to mention in those super cool PvP moves like Sand Tomb, and it learns Dragon Tail and Outrage, putting it on the list as well as one of the best dragon type Pokemon in the game, almost tied with Rayquaza, giving it a well-deserved spot on our list. Kyogre. I'm aware a lot of people don't have Kyogre, but if you do have one, save all your boo-boo Kyogres. Keep those in your pocket because once you are able to lucky trade again, this is definitely the number 1 Pokemon you want to go for because there aren't a lot of great water types in the game. The only competition that Kyogre has is Kingler. Kingler is technically better than Kyogre, but Kyogre lasts incredibly much longer than Kingler. Your best moveset for Kyogre is going to be Waterfall and Surf, making it, it's such a great Pokemon, giving it a well-deserved spot on our list. Next up is Groudon. Groudon, again, another Titan in the game with the additional move of Fire Punch. However, keep in mind, don't quote me on this, but you don't need to have Fire Punch to make Groudon a Titan in the game. Simply having Mud Slap and Earthquake does well enough justice for Groudon. The only problem is Groudon's very rare, very rarely comes along, so it's going to be hard finding candy unless you're using rare candy. And Earthquake is not that great of a move because it takes a long time to charge up, which is the only reason Pokemon like Drillbur are preferred over Groudon. However, do not let that discourage you. A good team consisting of just 2 well-rounded Groudons is definitely a very strong ground team and something you should be proud of, making Groudon a prime candidate for choice on our list. Chandelure. Litwick was all over the place just a few months ago for the Halloween, so I do hope you saved a couple for yourself in case you ever need the lucky trade. If you and your friends don't have much to, why not trade 2 Litwicks? One of the top fire and ghost types in the game, Litwick is definitely somebody that you need on your team, and a great Pokemon that can get out, deal damage in battles, and not blow through a whole lot of potions and revives. Even though it is fragile, it hits so hard that it ends the battle before it can get knocked out, giving it a fantastic spot on our list. Lucario, say no more. One of the most popular Pokemon in the game, without a doubt. Lucario does get a Mega Evolution coming soon and is super incredible against almost every type of combination Team Go Rocket leaders and Giovanni that we've seen thus far. It's recommended you bring 2, maybe even 3, and you can smoothly sail through most encounters. Lucario hits hard. It does have a lot more weaknesses because it is part steel. It's not a great steel type Pokemon. However, it does learn Power Up Punch, which hits incredibly hard, very spammy, and good to take down shields. And with the addition of Aura Spear for Lucario, this gives it a well-deserved spot on our list. Conkeldurr. This goes without saying. The reason Conkeldurr makes this list is for 2 reasons. One, it's the best fighting type in the game. No offense, Lucario, it's just facts. Second of all, if you do not trade your Timber or your Boulder or whatever, Girder, whatever it's called, if you don't trade that, that's going to cost you 200 candy to evolve in Conkeldurr. Save yourself some candy, put that candy into building more Conkeldurrs, get yourself a solid fighting team. This Pokemon definitely has a well-deserved spot on our list because of its really simple moveset of Counter being one of the best fighting fast type moves in the game, and Dynamic Punch, allowing it to do an incredible amount of damage. It has more stamina and more stamina than Machamp, and it does a heck of a lot more damage than Machamp, having over 30 more attack points than Machamp itself. This Pokemon also will last longer in a battle versus Lucario, giving it a well-deserved spot on our list. Haxorus. Now, if you're going to trade anything, it might as well be currently, arguably, the rarest Pokemon in the game, which is Axew. I have 1 Axew, just 1. I would love to trade that Axew with somebody else just to have kind of that treasure in my pocket. Haxorus is what will be referred to as a pseudo-legendary, meaning it almost has legendary stats, but it just didn't quite make it. It is a decent dragon-type Pokemon, but more so well-known for its rarity in the game. If I were you, I'd trade one and hold on to it and see what happens in the future when Pokemon decides to make this Pokemon more widely available, giving it a well-deserved spot on the list. Hydreigon. If you have a shiny Dino, you are one of the lucky few. If you have a friend that has a shiny Dino, why not trade? Hydreigon is one of the best dark type. I'm laughing because it's also one of the best water type Pokemon in the game, which is insane because it doesn't even have a water typing. It is a dragon and dark type Pokemon. Very rare, slightly more common now, but very hard to find. With a very unique moveset, this Pokemon is definitely something you want to hold on to or trade or build up. If you don't have a lot of dark or dragon type Pokemon, it's something you can easily switch around with a few charge and fast TMs, giving it a well-deserved spot on the list. Dialga. Dialga is a beast in the game. Not the best moveset, but still a beast in the game for more than one reason. It has bulk, it has attack, it has stamina, it has everything you can want in a Pokemon, and it's a dragon. This Pokemon is more so well known as actually being one of the few Pokemon that can tank another dragon type Pokemon without flinching, giving it a well-deserved spot on the list. Zekrom and Reshiram hold the crown as the best electric type being for Zekrom and the best fire type being Reshiram. If you were to trade anything and you have anything left over in your reserves, I recommend Zekrom or Reshiram. Without a doubt. They're the top electric and fire types in the game with killer movesets, crazy attack, and good stamina and defense. They don't even go down very easily. They stay in, do a lot of damage, and save you potion, save you Stardust long run, because once you get one good Pokemon, you no longer have to develop as many to keep a solid raid team in the game. And this Pokemon is incredible at taking Pokemon down out of a gym, giving Reshiram and Zekrom their own spots on our list. At this point, we're going to switch gears to our junior varsity squad. Do keep in mind that that does not mean that these Pokemon are bad Pokemon. There are over 400 Pokemon in Pokemon Go right now, and we're doing a list of just 30. So do keep in mind if these Pokemon make a top 30, they are definitely something you want to keep a keen eye out for, especially if you start to run low on extra spare legendaries. This is something you definitely want to keep a keen eye out for, especially if you start to run low on legendaries that you are comfortable with trading or offering somebody. These Pokemon start with Gengar. Gengar with Lick or Shadow Claw is one of the highest DPS dragon, is the highest DPS ghost type attacker in the game. If you've ever powered a Mega Gengar up to level 45, you would never have any complaint in your life. This dude's defense starts to climb and it stays in there doing crazy amounts of damage. If you are low on Pokemon, I definitely recommend lucky trading a Gengar for a Gengar, using a couple charge TMs, things like that to tweak it to your liking, and keeping this Pokemon as a fan favorite. Smackdown Tyranitar, one of the long lost Pokemon in the game. Keep in mind, Tyranitar will get rejuvenation added to it once it gets its Mega Evolution. Do not sleep on this Pokemon. One of the best dark types in the game for a long time until Darkrai came along. One of the best rock type Pokemon for a long time until Rampardos and Rock Wrecker Rhyperior came along. Tyranitar is definitely something that you want to keep in your party because this Pokemon is a lot easier to find, a lot easier to develop, and all in all, a very cherished relic of Gen 2 in Pokemon Go. Giving it a spot on our list. Excadrill is next on our list as a top pick, Junior Varsity style, because its Drill Run ability gives it a crazy edge over a lot of ground type Pokemon, allowing it to deal out crazy amounts of damage very fast and get out. It does not have a lot of defense, meaning it will get knocked out quickly, but it does so much damage that you will definitely see the output in this Pokemon. Not only that, but again, if you are low on Pokemon, it's easy to find, easy to trade, and easy to raise up to a great level. Keep in mind, it does do more damage than Groudon. However, Groudon lasts longer than this Pokemon. If you need a Pokemon that's a pseudo legendary, I recommend Excadrill. Darmanitan is one that I'm not entirely sold on because I want to see what Pokemon Go is going to do with Zen mode. If you are feeling brave, feeling exotic, go ahead and swap two Darmanitans, whether it's the Galarian form or the regular form. This Pokemon still tops the charts as one of the best fire and best ice in the game, making it a solid investment. But if I were you, I would definitely hold off on this to see exactly what Pokemon is going to do with Zen mode Darmanitan with the ice and the fire form. But it still gets a spot on the list. Rhyperior is a solid investment for a multitude of reasons. A, it's one of the best ground type attackers in the game, and B, it's one of the best rock type attackers in the game, only barely losing to Rampardos. Rock Wrecker Rhyperior is something you're going to definitely want to invest your time in, especially with Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos coming up just around the corner. I would not sleep on this Pokemon. In fact, I would give this Pokemon 3 moves. Mud Slap, Rock Wrecker, and Earthquake. And you can interchange whether this Pokemon learns a Rock Quick type move or a Ground Quick type move. Again, this is about being smart and having one Pokemon that does the job of 2. Giving this a well-deserved spot on the list. If you do happen to have a Zapdos that you're comfortable with trading, Thundershot Zapdos is definitely not a bad choice. I don't have much experience with this Pokemon, to be honest, but if you do need an electric type Pokemon, it might be something worth investing your time in. Do keep in mind that since Zekrom is newer, you're probably more likely to see Zekrom come back a lot more times than you are to see Zapdos. But it does deserve a spot on the list. Surprise, surprise, Heatran made the list. Heatran is good now. Now that Heatran knows Fire Spin and Flamethrower, its unique typing gives it a world of difference being a Steel and Fire type Pokemon. It does have a shiny as well, and I'm starting to warm up the Heatran after months of complaining about this Pokemon's entire existence. Giving it a spot on the list. You should have a Heatran because it's out in raids right now. If not, go get one so at least you have something to bring. This guy almost slipped through the cracks. We're looking at Palkia. Palkia making the Junior Varsity squad. I know you're wondering why. Unfortunately, with its move of Dragon Tail and Draco Meteor, Palkia just kind of remains almost an average type dragon because it's just so slow and bulky. But the good thing is, it's bulky enough to make the list because it does get the no weakness to ice type, which makes it super invaluable. It also gets Aqua Tail now, which makes it a very formidable water type Pokemon. It's just such a unique water dragon type. Therefore, it does deserve a spot on the list. And now we move on to the junior. Now we move on to the junior varsity. Yes, that's right. One last tier for you guys being Swine Up. Swine Up, still best ice type attacker in the game when evolved all the way up to Mammo Swine with a Sinnoh Stone. If you do need something that's really strong, you want to save some Stardust, you don't have much to trade, there you go. Go ahead and get yourself one. Only thing is, it's very common and easy to find. That was why it didn't place higher on the list. Roselia. Roselia has a community day coming up soon. If you want to save some Stardust and possibly roll the dice, if you don't have a great community day, consider saving one Roselia to trade with a friend and see how that turns out. Giving it a spot on the list. It's the best grass type attacker. Don't sleep on it. Krabby and Kingler. Krabby's kind of hard to find for me because I live in a big city, but if you live somewhere that has a lot of water, maybe this is a super common Pokemon to you. Remember what I said earlier about Kingler being better than Kyogre? That wasn't a lie. That wasn't a joke. It's true. With the Crab Hammer move, Kingler places as the #1 water type in the game, doing an incredible amount of damage in a short amount of time. Only thing is, it's Kingler. Doesn't have very high CP, and it doesn't look very flashy. If you want something flashy, I would skip this one, but it still makes the junior squad, baby. And next we are looking at Dragonite. Unfortunately, this Pokemon just continues to slide down the list as we cycle through generations and continue to move on to better dragons like Reshiram, Zekrom, and of course Kyurem, White and Black are just around the corner. However, do not sleep on this Pokemon. It does pretty good in PvP. It has a solid moveset, multiple solid movesets. It does learn some flying type moves and still deserves a spot on the junior squad. All jokes aside, it's time for Ayo Ronnie's personal pick. Don't laugh, but you guys took all the good Pokemon. So, my personal pick for this will be Mareep. Yep, that's right, Mareep. Not the easiest Pokemon to find, not the hardest Pokemon to find, but definitely a Pokemon that's worthy of being on our list because word on the streets are Mareep will be getting a Mega Evolution in a couple days. So if you don't have a solid Mareep, this might be a good chance for you to get one because this is going to be the certified leader on your electric team, only falling in comparison to Mega Charizard X, which is the captain of the Dragon Squad for now. Mareep, to me, is something I would be interested in lucky trading, and I probably will during this 4-day event. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Subscribe to join the AYOFAM. I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.